welcome back to another video, and today I'm on a hangout with Anthony7771, Mario Minecraft, Monster Jam Fan 0311, and Monster Jam General.
Yo, what's up? What's good?
And today we have the event for Sign Up Series number 196, the Hot Wheels Monster Jam Edition. So before I show you guys the races up close, I'm gonna announce the 12 surprise entrances. So we have Monster Jam Fever and Black Avenger, Avengers Racing and Thrasher, The Life of Ethan Ruppel and Flashback Shocker, Mutant Zoomies in Zombie, Antonio Rodriguez III in Gravedigger, STC5 in the Blackout Hot Wheels, Christopher Bergseth in Iron Outlaw, JRS Zombie Hunter in Northern Nightmare, Holly Triplet in Gold Machines Gravedigger, Mike Monster 27 in Green Megarex, Dolores Simmons in Farewell Medusa, and Shane Licardi in the Fox Sports 1 Cletus Clear Crushers. So here are all of the races in round number 1. Now this, with the surprise entrances, is officially the biggest lineup I've ever had on my channel. Before this series, it was 102. I got that back in series 171. But for this series now, with the surprise entrances, there's 106 people in the lineup. So that's absolutely crazy. So anyways, guys, here's the last few races here. If you guys don't know which truck you're in, then make sure you go check out the Field of Trucks video. And here's the final row, ending it off with Gas Monkey Garage and Edge Glow Bounty Hunter. So without further ado, we are going to kick things off with Meta Militia taking on Soldier Fortune. Sign Up Series 196 is underway. And the first winner is going to be, wow, we're starting off with a very close race. But just barely, it's going to be Meta Militia. Next up, we have Yellow Zombie taking on Wrecking Crew. And Wrecking Crew will take the win. Next up, we have Bonebusters Dragon taking on 8-time champion Captain's Curse. And Captain's Curse, no surprise there, is going to defeat the Bonebusters Dragon. Next up, we have Big Kahuna taking on X-Ray Blue Thunder. And it's going to be, oh, what a race. Another close one. But just barely, Big Kahuna is going to take the win. Next up, we have Blackout Higher Education taking on Raisin Cane. And it's going to be Raisin King. Next up, we have Monster Mutt Rottweiler taking on Gravedigger Color Treads. And it's going to be the Color Treads Gravedigger. Next up, we have Grandma Gravedigger taking on Spider-Man. And Gravedigger flips over. That's going to give the win to Spider-Man. Next up, we have Earthshaker taking on Radical Rescue. And it's going to be, oh, what a race. Another close one, but just barely, it's going to be Earthshaker. Next up, we have Exterminator taking on the Bonebusters Predator. And it's going to be the Bonebusters Predator. Next up, we have Overkill Evolution taking on Chrome Mohawk Warrior. And it's going to be, no surprise there, Overkill Evolution. Next up, we have Man of Steel Clear Crushers taking on Utter Madness. And Utter Madness gets the upset win over Man of Steel. Next up, we have Stone Crusher Edgeglow taking on Monster Mutt Junkyard Dog. And, ooh, what a race, but it's going to be Junkyard Dog. Next up, we have Brutus taking on Northern Nightmare. And it's going to be Northern Nightmare. Next up, we have Green Megarex taking on Aftershock Mud. And it's going to be Aftershock Mud. What a run. He defeats the Green Megarex. Next up, we have Ice Cream Man taking on Blue Avenger. And it's going to be, oh, I think that's Ice Cream Man. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Ice Cream Man takes the win. Next up, we have Black Stallion taking on the Edgeglow Pirate's Curse. And it's going to be, oh, what a race. And Pirate's Curse just barely is going to take the win over Black Stallion, who is a past championship truck, so that's an upset right there. Next up, we have X-Ray Virginia Giant taking on Blue NEA. And it's going to be Blue NEA. Next up, we have World Final 17 Titan taking on Orange Gravedigger. And it's going to be Orange Gravedigger. Titan flipped and he landed it, but that's going to give the win to Gravedigger. Next up, we have Cyborg Shark taking on Hooked. And it's going to be Hooked. Next up, we have Zombie taking on Gunslinger. And it's going to be, oh, what a race. And it looks like that Zombie is going to get the upset win over Gunslinger. Next up, we have Black Avenger taking on BKT. And it's going to be BKT with the comeback win. Next up, we have Green Jurassic Attack taking on Golden Machines Hot Wheels. And it's going to be Green Jurassic Attack. Next up, we have Monster Mutt Dalmatian taking on War Wizard. And it's going to be Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Next up, we have Flashback Team Ments taking on Obsession. And it's going to be Obsession. Next up, we have Flashback Hot Wheels taking on World Final 17 Avenger. And it's going to be Flashback Hot Wheels. Next up, we have Flashback Thrasher taking on the World Finals 18 Hot Wheels. And it's going to be Flashback Thrasher. Next up, we have Chrome El Toro Loco taking on Stinger. And it's going to be Stinger with the upset win. Next up, we have the Mud Treads Bad News Travels Fast taking on Alien Invasion. And it's going to be Bad News Travels Fast. Next up, we have Medusa taking on Shark Shock. And it's going to be Shark Shock. Next up, we have the Clear Crushers Cletus taking on your most recent Hot Wheels Monster Jam truck that's won on my channel, Carolina Crusher. And it's going to be, oh, that's really close. But just barely, it's going to be the Clear Crushers Cletus. Next up, we have a battle of the Blackouts, Max D taking on Dragon. And, oh, they don't go very far, but as you guys can see, it's going to be Dragon. Next up, we have Farewell Medusa taking on Green Jester. And it's going to be Green Jester. Next up, we have the Flashback Michigan Ice Monster taking on Doomsday Nightglow. And it's going to be Doomsday Nightglow with the upset win. Next up, we have X-Ray Prowler taking on X-Ray Fox Sports 1 Cletus. And it's going to be Prowler. Next up, we have Clydesdale taking on the Bonebuster Zombie. And it's going to be Clydesdale. Next up, we have Higher Education Color Treads taking on Iron Outlaw. And, ooh, Color Treads Higher Education, I don't think he fell off the side. He just took an awkward bounce, and that's going to give the win to Iron Outlaw. Next up, we have Megalodon taking on Edgeglow Batman. And it's going to be Edgeglow Batman. Next up, we have Lucas Oil Crusader taking on the Yellow Max D. And it's going to be Lucas Oil Crusader. Next up, we have Mad Scientist taking on X-Ray Predator. And it's going to be... Ooh, did Mad Scientist get the upset win? Let's see. And just barely, as you guys can see right there, Predator takes the win. Next up, we have Monster Mutt taking on the Golden Machines Gravedigger. And it's going to be... Wow, what a race. One of the best races so far, but Monster Mutt takes the win. Next up, we have 10-time champion Obsessed, which is the most wins on my channel, and he is taking on Chrome Son of a Digger. And it's going to be Obsessed. No surprise there. Next up, we have Reptoid taking on Hot Wheels 68. And it's going to be another good race. Oh, did Reptoid hit the laptop? He's not pressed up against. I'm going to go back and see if he actually hit it and bounced off or not, but... As of right now, it looks like Hot Wheels took the win. So looking back at the clip, it was very hard to tell if Reptoid had bounced off a little bit. So I'm just going to give Hot Wheels the win. That's like probably the best race so far. But Reptoid will be guaranteed a spot in the Fast Loser tournament at the end of this round just because that was the closest race so far. But anyways, next up we have the Blackout El Toro Loco taking on Eradicator. And it's going to be Eradicator. Next up we have Gold Max D taking on the Blackout Team Hot Wheels Firestorm. And it's going to be Blackout Hot Wheels. Next up, we have the Golden Machines Mohawk Warrior taking on the X-Ray Shocker. And it's going to be Golden Machines Mohawk Warrior. Next up, we have Gravedigger taking on the 2017 Flashback King Crunch. And it's going to be Flashback King Crunch. Next up, we have Flashback Shocker taking on the Chromafrost Blue Crustacean. And it's going to be Flashback Shocker. Next up, we have Wonder Woman taking on the Bonebuster Sharkreek. And it's going to be Wonder Woman. Next up, we have Halloween Zombie taking on the Orange El Toro Loco X-Ray. And it's going to be, no surprise, the Orange El Toro Loco X-Ray. Next up, we have Mohawk Warrior taking on Flashback Inferno. And it's going to be Flashback Inferno. Next up, we have the 50th Anniversary Hot Wheels taking on Thrasher. And it's going to be Thrasher. What a run. Next up, we have X-Ray Barbarian taking on Cyclops. And it's going to be, wow, what a close race, but just barely, it's going to be the X-Ray Barbarian. And next up, we have the final race of round number 1 until the Fast Loser tournament. We have Gas Monkey Garage taking on Bounty Hunter Edgeglow. And it's going to be Bounty Hunter Edgeglow. So here are the trucks in round number 2. They're a total of 53. So we're going to have a Fast Loser tournament to see who will take on Bounty Hunter Edgeglow. So here are the 4 trucks that I have selected. We're going to have Monster Mutt Rottweiler versus Flashback Team Mentz. And then we're going to have Reptoid versus X-Ray Virginia Giant. So first things first, we have Monster Mutt Rottweiler versus Flashback Team Mentz. And it's going to be, wow, what a race. They both go way off to the side. But just barely, it's going to be Flashback Team Mentz. Next up, we have Reptoid taking on the X-Ray Virginia Giant. And it's going to be... Wow, that's a close race. Let's see who got it. It's going to be Virginia Giant. So who's going to be your fast losers? Is it going to be Flashback Team Mentz or X-Ray Virginia Giant? It's going to be Flashback Team Mentz. So now it is finally time for round number 2. There are 54 trucks remaining, so we will have a fast loser race in this round as well because we would go down to 27, and we're going to need a fast loser race to make it 28. So anyways, we're going to kick things off with Metal Militia taking on Wrecking Crew. So round number 2 is underway. And the first winner is going to be Metal Militia. Next up, we have Captain's Curse taking on Big Kahuna. And it's going to be Captain's Curse. Next up, we have Raisin Cane taking on Gravedigger Color Treads. And it's going to be Gravedigger Color Treads. Next up, we have Spider-Man taking on Earthshaker. And it's going to be Spider-Man. Next up, we have the Bonebusters Predator taking on Overkill Evolution. And it's going to be Bonebusters Predator. Next up, we have Utter Madness taking on Monster Mutt Junkyard Dog. And it's going to be Utter Madness. Next up, we have Northern Nightmare taking on Aftershock Mud Treads. And it's going to be Northern Nightmare. Next up, we have Ice Cream Man taking on Pirate's Curse Edgeglow. And it's going to be Ice Cream Man. Next up, we have Blue NEA taking on Orange Gravedigger. And it's going to be... Ooh, that's a close race, but I think it's going to be NEA. Yes, it is. Next up, we have Hook taking on Zombie. And it's going to be Zombie. Next up, we have BKT taking on Green Jurassic Attack. And it's going to be BKT. Next up, we have Monster Mutt Dalmatian taking on Obsession. And it's going to be... Oh, I think it's Dalmatian. Just barely. Monster Mutt Dalmatian will take it. Next up, we have a battle of the flashbacks. We have Hot Wheels taking on Thrasher. And it's going to be Hot Wheels. Next up, we have Stinger taking on the Mud Treads. Bad News Travels Fast. And it's going to be Bad News Travels Fast with an amazing run. He will defeat Stinger. Next up, we have Shark Shock taking on Cletus Clear Crushers. And it's going to be Cletus Clear Crushers with a very fast run defeating Shark Shock. Next up, we have Blackout Dragon taking on Green Jester. And it's going to be Green Jester. Next up, we have Doomsday Nightglow taking on X-Ray Prowler. And it's going to be X-Ray Prowler. Next up, we have Clydesdale taking on Iron Outlaw. And it's going to be Iron Outlaw. Next up, we have Batman Edgeglow taking on Lucas Oil Crusader. And it's going to be Crusader. What an upset. Next up, we have X-Ray Predator taking on Monster Mutt. And it's going to be... Oh, another upset win. Monster Mutt has defeated the 5-time championship truck X-Ray Predator. Next up, we have Obsessed taking on Hot Wheels 68. And it's going to be Hot Wheels 68 with the upset win. So after Hot Wheels 68 just knocked out the fastest truck on my channel, next up we have Eradicator taking on the Blackout Hot Wheels. And it's going to be Eradicator. Next up we have Golden Machine's Mohawk Warrior taking on Flashback King Crunch. And it's going to be Flashback King Crunch. Let's just be sure. Yes, King Crunch takes it. Next up we have Flashback Shocker taking on Wonder Woman. And it's going to be Shocker with a block. Next up, we have X-Ray Orange El Toro Loco taking on Flashback Inferno. And it's going to be Orange El Toro Loco X-Ray. Next up, we have Thrasher taking on Barbarian X-Ray. And it's going to be Barbarian X-Ray. Next up, for the final race of round number 2, we have Bounty Hunter Edgeglow taking on Flashback Team Ments. And it's going to be Team Ments with the comeback win. So here are all the trucks in round number 3. There are a total of 27 trucks. We're going to have a fast loser tournament to see who will take on the Flashback Team Ments. So here are the 4 trucks that I have selected. We're going to have Wonder Woman take on the Edgeglow Pirate's Curse. And then Obsessed will take on the X-Ray Predator. First things first, Wonder Woman takes on Pirate's Curse. And it's going to be a rerun. They both hit the laptop. So here goes the rerun. And it's going to be Pirate's Curse. Next up, we have Obsessed taking on X-Ray Predator. And it's going to be Predator X-Ray over Obsessed. So who'll be your fast loser? Is it going to be Pirate's Curse Edgeglow or X-Ray Predator? It's going to be X-Ray Predator. So here are the trucks in round number 3. There are a total of 28 trucks. We will not have a fast loser in this round because 28 will go down to 14. But we will in the round after that. So anyways, we're going to kick things off with Metal Militia taking on Captain's Curse. So round number 3 is underway. And the first win is... Oh, that's a close race. Captain's Curse hit the side, but I think he won either way. Oh, that's close, but just barely, as you guys can see right there, by the slightest bit, Captain's Curse will take the win. Next up, we have Gravedigger Color Treads taking on Spider-Man. And it's going to be Spider-Man. Next up, we have Bonebusters Predator taking on Utter Madness. And it's going to be Bonebusters Predator. Next up, we have Northern Nightmare taking on Ice Cream Man. And it's going to be Northern Nightmare. Next up, we have Blue NEA taking on Zombie. And it's going to be... Zombie. Next up, we have BKT taking on Monster Mutt Dalmatian. And it's going to be... Oh, they both flip over. but BKT takes the win. Next up, we have two fast trucks, the Flashback Hot Wheels and the Mud Treads Bad News Travels Fast. And it's going to be, wow, that's a close race. They didn't go very far, but it looks like that Bad News is going to take it. Next up, we have the Clear Crushers Cletus taking on the Green Jester. And it's going to be Green Jester. Next up, we have X-Ray Prowler taking on Iron Outlaw. And it's going to be Iron Outlaw. Next up, we have Lucas Oil Crusader taking on Monster Mutt. And it's going to be Lucas Oil Crusader. Next up, we have Hot Wheels 68 taking on Eradicator. And it's going to be Eradicator! Next up, we have Flashback King Crunch taking on Flashback Shocker. And it's going to be... oh, that's a close race, but it looks like it's going to be King Crunch. Next up, we have a Battle of the X-Rays, Orange El Toro Loco versus Barbarian. And it's going to be Barbarian. Next up, we have the final race of round number 3. It's going to be Flashback Team Ments versus X-Ray Predator. And it's going to be... Predator. So here are all the trucks in round number 4. There are a total of 14 left. After this round, we will go down to 7, and then we will have a fast loser race to make an even bracket for the quarterfinals, and that's when I will read off the field of trucks. So we're going to kick things off here in round number 4 with Captain's Curse taking on Spider-Man. Round number 4 is underway. And the first winner is going to be your 8-time champion, Captain's Curse. Next up, we have Bonebusters Predator taking on Northern Nightmare. And it's going to be Bonebusters Predator. Next up, we have Zombie taking on BKT. And it's going to be BKT. Next up, we have Bad News Travels Fast Mud Treads taking on Green Jester. And it's going to be Bad News Mud. Next up, we have Iron Outlaw taking on Lucas Oil Crusader. And it's going to be Lucas Oil Crusader. Next up, we have Eradicator taking on Flashback King Crunch. And it's going to be Eradicator! So here's the final race until the Fast Loser tournament. We have X-Ray Barbarian and X-Ray Predator. And it's going to be X-Ray Predator. So these 7 guys are into the quarterfinals, but we're going to do a Fast Loser tournament to see who will take on Predator. And here are the 4 trucks that I have selected. Only 7 lost in that round, so more than half of them get another chance here. It's going to be Green Jester versus Flashback King Crunch and Spider-Man versus Barbarian X-Ray. So first things first, we have Green Jester and Flashback King Crunch. And it's going to be, oh, what a save by King Crunch. And I think he's going to take the win. Yes, he is. Next up, we have Spider-Man taking on X-Ray Barbarian. And it's going to be Spider-Man. So who's going to be the fast loser? Flashback King Crunch or Spider-Man? 2 past champions going at it. It's going to be Spider-Man. King Crunch flipped over like a million times. Spider-Man's moving on to the quarterfinals. And now we are down to the quarterfinals of sign-up series number 196, the Hot Wheels Monster Jam Edition. So let's go over the field of trucks. Inside of the 8-time championship truck, Captain's Curse, we have Lego Fan 506. Inside of Bonebusters Predator, we have Monster Jams times 10. Inside of BKT, we have Chase Smith. Inside of Bad News Mud, we have John Cadeau. Inside of Lucas Oil Crusader, we have Matteo Ambriz. Inside of Eradicator, we have Adam the Ultra Savage. Inside of X-Ray Predator, we have Henry Waldorf. And inside of Spider-Man, we have King Hydros 248. So those are all the 8 guys here in the quarterfinals. And we're going to kick things off with Captain's Curse and Bonebusters Predator. So who is going to go to the semifinals? Is it going to be Lego Fan 506 or Monster Jams times 10? It's going to be Monster Jams times 10 defeating Lego Fan 506. Next up, we have BKT versus the Mud Treads Bad News Travels Fast. And a slow start for BKT, and that is going to cost him. Bad News is going to take it. Next up, we have Lucas Oil Crusader taking on Eradicator. And it's going to be Lucas Oil Crusader. So who will be the final person to go to the semifinals? Is it going to be X-Ray Predator or Spider-Man? It's going to be... oh, they both go in completely different directions. Sorry about the phone charger that's in the way there. My phone's almost dead. But... as you guys can see right there, it's going to be Spider-Man. And now we are down to the semifinals of sign-up series number 196, the Hot Wheels Monster Jam Edition. So let's go over the field of trucks. Inside of Bonebusters Predator, we have Monster Jams times 10. Inside of the Mud Treads Bad News Travels Fast, we have John Cadeau, who made it to the semifinals last series in the Spin Master Edition and the Spin Master Bad News, but he did fall just short, so he's looking for revenge here. Inside of Lucas Oil Crusader, we have Matteo Ambriz, and inside of Spider-Man, we have King Hydros 248. So out of the 4 drivers here, the only one that has a championship is Monster Jams times 10. He won pretty recently I believe it was Series 190. It was whichever one was in the basement. I think it was Series 190. So the other 3 guys are looking for their first ever win. And then 2 of these trucks are past champions. Bad News Mud is a 2-time champion, and Spider-Man is a 1-time champion. But Lucas Oil Crusader and Bonebusters Predator are looking for their first ever win. So anyways, without further ado, we are going to kick things off with Monster Jams times 10, the Bonebusters Predator taking on John Cadeau in the Bad News Mud. So who is going to go to the championship race? Is it going to be 1-time champion Monster Jams times 10 or 0-time champion John Cadeau? It is going to be Monster Jams times 10, and for the second sign-up series in a row, John Cadeau has lost in the semifinals. So sorry, man. Better luck in Series 197. Maybe you will finally get your first ever win. But Monster Jams times 10 is in the championship race trying to get his second ever win. So who is going to meet Monster Jams times 10 in the championship race? Is it going to be Mateo Ambriz in the Lucas Oil Crusader or King Hydro's 248 in Spider-Man? It's going to be King Hydro's 248 in Spider-Man. Mateo Ambriz was so close to getting his first ever win. Better luck in sign-up series 197 to you, bro, and maybe you will finally be able to get your first ever win. But King Hydro's 248 in Spider-Man is in the championship race. And now we are down to the championship race of Monster Jam sign-up series number 196, the Hot Wheels Monster Jam edition. So inside of Bonebusters Predator, we have Monster Jams times 10, who is a 1-time champion, but the Bonebusters Predator is a 0-time championship truck looking for his first ever win. And then inside of Spider-Man, which is a 1-time championship truck, he won back in Series 105, which at the time was being driven by Metal Sonic Dude, but this time it is being driven by King Hydro's 248. He used to be known as Dr. Pepper. He changed his name to King Hydro's 248, and he has never won before. He's looking for his first ever win. So let's see who it's going to be. Your winner of Monster Jam sign-up series number 196 is going to be none other than... Oh, that's a close race. But it's going to be King Hydro's 248 in Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is now a 2-time championship truck. Congratulations to King Hydro's 248. You deserved it, man. And you are now a 1-time champion. And Monster Jams times 10, you were so close to getting your second ever championship. Better luck in Series 197 to you, bro. And maybe you will finally get your second ever win. But like I said, congratulations to King Hydro's 248 and Spider-Man. You are now a 1-time champion. So if I'm going to be using Hot Wheels Monster Jam trucks in my sign-up series from here on out with the Spin Masters and the Hot Wheels Monster trucks, it's still undecided. I guess we'll see what happens, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure you guys do subscribe, and then also make sure to leave a like on the video, turn on post notifications, and comment anything you guys have to say, and I'll see you guys next time.